It's been 14 years since the Minnesota Timberwolves made the playoffs, way back in 2004, led by Kevin Garnett, Sam Cassell, and Latrell Sprewell. Flash forward to right now, the T-Wolves are on their way to making it back to the postseason for the first time this decade. What's up guys, my name is Wilson. Past the halfway mark of the NBA season, the Timberwolves are in a very comfortable position in the Western Conference as the 4th seed with a 29-17 overall record and are on their way to winning over 50 games for the first time since 03-04. With the addition of Jimmy Butler during the offseason, the 3-time All-Star is the main reason why the T-Wolves are playing excellent basketball and have completely changed the culture of the struggling franchise. The team chemistry is finally starting to click, with the defensive brilliance of head coach Tom Thibodeau adding both Butler and Taj Gibson, two key veterans whom he coached with the Bulls, to the young Wolves. The team have become a serious threat to any opponent that matches up against them. Looking back, the Timberwolves franchise have had one heck of a roller coaster ride, going through many painful losses and failures. After making the conference finals with the MVP Kevin Garnett in 2004, the team slowly fell apart. While KG missed the playoffs in each of his last 3 seasons before being traded to Boston, winning a championship, the Wolves continuously failed in all aspects during the post-Garnett era until this season. While many of you guys are wondering how a team has been this awful for such a long period of time, the answer is simple. The front office made many awful decisions which haunted the franchise for many years, resulting in bad draft picks during the rebuilding process. From 2005 to 2011, Minnesota had 8 draft picks landing in the top 14, ended up picking guys like Rashad McCants, Randy Foye, Corey Brewer, Johnny Flynn, Wesley Johnson, and Derek Williams. Look at the guys who were picked after them and the superstars they missed out on. The NBA would be totally different today if the Wolves actually made some good decisions. The only 2 picks that turned out well were Kevin Love and Ricky Rubio, but none of them can help the Wolves get over the hump, with the franchise going under 500 for 13 consecutive seasons. On May 22nd of 2009, owner Glenn Taylor made a fateful decision to hire David Kahn as president of basketball operations. A couple weeks later, Kahn entered the 09 NBA draft with his first taste of being a Timberwolves GM, with 4 first-round picks on board, 2 in the top 10. And of course, he failed. Famously known for passing up on Steph Curry, Kahn decided to take Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn instead. I'm sure everyone knew how that turned out. The T-Wolves then selected Ty Lawson with the 18th pick, and Kahn immediately traded him for a future first-rounder that turned out to be Luke Babbitt, 16th overall in the 2010 draft, who was then traded to Portland along with Ryan Gomes for Martell Webster. The following season, the Wolves finished with a 15-67 record and had 5 draft picks overall, with 3 in the first round. With future All-Stars like DeMarcus Cousins, Paul George, and Gordon Hayward still on board, Kahn selected Wesley Johnson as the 4th pick. If you guys thought that was bad, this is even worse. Yes, Kahn gave Darko Milicic a 4-year $20 million contract extension after being traded from the Knicks in the middle of the 2009 season. Yes, one of the biggest busts in NBA history had such a contract. And Kahn wasn't done. In the 2011 NBA draft, the Timberwolves had the number 2 pick, and yet he blew it again, selecting another bust in Derek Williams, who's no longer in the NBA, while passing up stars like Kemba Walker, Klay Thompson, and Kawhi Leonard. Kahn's tenure with the Timberwolves finally came to an end after the 2012-2013 season and have made many more terrible decisions you guys can read up on. The Timberwolves record was a horrific 89-323 during the Kahn era. However, Kahn was not the only reason behind the Timberwolves' struggles over the last decade and a half. Going back to the last century, after the 1999 lockout was over, the Wolves illegally signed former number 1 pick Joel Smith to a 1-year $1.75 million deal, well below the market value. It was a very sketchy situation since Smith turned down an $80 million extension with the Warriors the year before. As it turned out, Smith was paid by the Timberwolves under the table and sanctions came down on the team hard. The Wolves were fined $3.5 million and had to forfeit 5 draft picks, but the league gave back 2 of them, thinking the penalty was too harsh. The Wolves simply got nothing in return. As it turned out, Smith wasn't that good, definitely not worth the risk. The first round picks taken away were in 2001, 2002, and 2004, and Minnesota could have drafted a guy like Tony Parker, Tayshaun Prince, Zach Randolph, or even Gilbert Arenas. Garnett might have never left or could have even won a championship with the Timberwolves, but I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. Even more recent than Kahn's arrival, and arguably one of the worst trades in the mid-2000s, when former Wolves GM Kevin McHale let go of former All-Star point guard Sam Cassell after the 2004-2005 season, trading him to the Clippers and a first-round draft pick in exchange for Marko Jaric and a second-rounder. Gasol went on to average 17 points for the Clippers the following year and led the team to its first playoff berth since '97, while the 6'7" Yaric never even averaged over 9 points or 5 assists in any of his 3 seasons with the Wolves. Now you know why Kevin Garnett would later demand a trade to leave Minnesota. During the 14-year playoff absence, the Timberwolves ended up having 8 different head coaches, including Flip Saunders and Kevin McHale twice, while Dwayne Casey led them to a 20-20 record in the 06-07 season, and after getting fired, things quickly went south for the Wolves, finishing 12-30 for the remainder of the season under replacement head coach Randy Whitman. The Wolves had a lineup of Kevin Garnett, Mike James, Ricky Davis, Mark Blount, and Trenton Hassell that season. The frustration would continue after KG was long gone, as Kevin Love, who was regarded as the Wolves franchise player in the early part of this decade, was frustrated with the direction of the team and demanded a trade out of Twin City. After 6 seasons and no playoff berth, Love finally got his wish, being traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers through a dream-team trade involving the Sixers in exchange for back-to-back first overall picks and Anthony Bennett, biggest bust of all time, and the very athletic and talented Andrew Wiggins along with Thaddeus Young. The Wolves would also draft Zach LaVine with the 13th overall pick in the 2014 draft. After losing the final 12 games and finishing with the worst record in the league in 2015, the Wolves landed the #1 pick and drafted a potential superstar in the making in Karl-Anthony Towns and did an excellent job at waiving Anthony Bennett on a buyout. Right before the 2015-16 NBA season, tragedy struck as former Wolves GM and head coach Flip Saunders passed away at the age of 60 while battling lymphoma. Saunders was the one who drafted Towns, and with his high self-esteem, Cat is looking to pay homage to Flip by promising a playoff berth. Before the season, the Wolves made a bunch of changes for trading Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, and their first-round pick Lowry Market into the Bulls in order to get a veteran like Jimmy Butler. They also got rid of Ricky Rubio and signed Jeff Teague. So far so good. The future is extremely bright for the Timberwolves, with their big three finally developing a good chemistry together, and with the bottom of the Western Conference weaker than usual, the Wolves look to maintain their success this season, and 3 months from now, the 14-year playoff drought will finally be over. Hallelujah. In fact, looking at the playoff seeding today, Minnesota will have home court advantage in the first round and can even win a playoff series if OKC doesn't get it together, or if they play New Orleans, Portland, or Denver in round 1. The Timberwolves are clearly the favorites if everyone can stay healthy. Wolves fans have a lot to be excited and happy about, as they will likely see their team in the NBA postseason this year and perhaps just the beginning of something special to come. That's all I got, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I'm very happy for all the Timberwolves fans out there who are finally seeing their team succeed. After so many years of disappointment, thank God for the Lynx, otherwise you guys really would have been screwed. How excited are you to see the Timberwolves win again? Can they make some noise in the postseason? Let me know in the comments below. If you like my video, subscribe for more content. I talk about NBA comparisons, predictions, intriguing storylines, and anything that will interest you. Have a great day. See you next time.